How's it going, guys? And in celebration of Batista's return to the WWE this Monday on Raw, I decided to watch his documentary, Batista I Walk Alone, this morning, and I am here to give my DVD review on it, my thoughts and everything on it. So, yeah, let's not waste any time and jump right into the video. Alrighty, let's get the DVD over here. As you can tell, you got a big picture of Big Dave on the cover here, looking jacked as usual. Batista I Walk Alone 3-disc set. Yeah, nice little cover there. You got Batista I Walk Alone on the side right there, and you go to the back, you got a picture of Batista. You got a picture of Batista again with the World Heavyweight Championship from when he won it at WrestleMania 21. And you have him and Shawn Michaels randomly, so yeah, that's pretty random. But of course, you have a little description bio thingy on the back here. It says, 5-time world champion, the Animal, Dave Batista, is a study in contrast. A self-described loner from the mean streets of Southeast DC, Batista is known for his stylish appearance and laid-back attitude. But in the ring, he unleashes an explosive fury befitting his nickname. For the first time ever, fans of the Animal can relive his storied career with this 3 DVD set that includes a biography of Batista's life story inside and outside the ring. Batista himself guides us through a never-before-seen look at his rough and tumbled childhood, his triumphs and tragedies, his pressures of being a champion, and more. In addition to this revealing look at the Animal, this set features some of his greatest matches and moments from Batista's career, including both his WrestleMania 21 and Hell in a Cell World Heavyweight Championship matches versus Triple H, title bouts versus Eddie Guerrero, Undertaker, and Edge, his first ever singles match against John Cena at SummerSlam 2008, a rare match from his OVW days, his February debut match versus Kane, and so much more. You open it up, you got some more pictures of Big Dave. You got Big Dave right there, about to punch in the face, it looks like. Have him doing his machine gun entrance. You got him with Eddie right there. You got Evolution. You got a picture of him spearing Jericho, him before his Hell in a Cell match, him at a house show, and him at a house show again making an entrance. You open the DVD up, nothing really spectacular, you just have a picture of him right there. Trolls. You got a picture of him right there, like I said, you got his insert, you got disc 1, disc 2, and disc 3. Let me just take the little insert out. Here's what, nothing really on it, just has a listing. And here's a chapter from the documentary, so if you want to, pause it and read it, you can. I'm getting trolled in this video, I don't even know it. And here's the special features. They're not honestly that anything special, they're not even that long. None of them are. And here are the matches from disc 2. The matches could have been a lot better in my opinion, but it's whatever. I think only like 2 or 3 of them aren't pay-per-view matches. Everything else is pay-per-view matches, as you can see right now. So that sucks. So yeah, on this entire disc, there's only one match that's not on pay-per-view, and that's the very first match. That's pretty sad. And of course, here are the matches from disc 3. Yeah, only 3 matches on this entire set are non-pay-per-view matches. That's I gotta say pretty pathetic, but that's pretty sad. But, yeah, let me try and get a nice setup here so I don't gotta hold the freaking camera the entire time while I'm talking about the DVD. Let's see if I can get a nice angle for the DVD. Sorry, trying to do a little setup here. Alright. So, alright, let's see if I can get it to go back. Alright, that's fine. Wait, let me go over the side a little more. A little more. But, yeah, that looks fine, right? Let's go down a little more. Yeah, that looks fine like that. But this documentary, honestly, it was good. I mean, I wouldn't say it's anything to go out and must see, but it was a good documentary. It only was about an hour and 25 minutes, so it wasn't very long. But it pretty much covered almost everything about Batista and his career. They might have left out maybe a thing or two, and that's probably about it, only a thing or two. They didn't leave that much out about his career up until this point. But it was good. I mean, if you're a Batista fan, obviously get it. But it was good. I mean, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't anything that's mind-blowing. But it was just good. That's all it was. The documentary started off with him talking about his rough childhood as a kid, how he grew up with his mom and his, I don't know if it was a brother or sister, I don't know. It just said, his mom just said she had 2 kids and just showed him and didn't talk about his brother or sister, whichever one he has, I don't really know. But it just showed him growing up And like he went to his old neighborhood, his old house and everything, sitting in his car driving around, and interviewed his mom right at the bat with him, and he talked about how tough his childhood was, how he didn't have a dad with him. His dad, his parents divorced when he was like really, really little, and it was just him and his mom and whoever his brother, sister, whoever it was. He didn't specify if he had a brother or sister. I don't know, but talked about how very rough childhood, rough neighborhood he grew up in, how people would get shot like almost every day in front of his house. It's just very, very tough, and how he had to move from he moved when I think he was 14. No, I think he was 12. He moved to San Francisco, and they lived there for a while. But Batista and his brother, sister, whoever it was, kept getting in a lot of trouble. So his mom moved him back to D.C. And his mom actually sent him to go live with his dad when he was 14. So Batista went to go move in with his dad, who he barely knew, and he said how him and his dad had no chemistry. They didn't know anything about each other. They just couldn't get along. They couldn't for whatever reason. So Batista and his dad never got along, and his dad kicked him out of his house when he was 17. So Batista was on his own from when he was 17 and on. He had his own place. He was taking care of himself at 17 years old. And he talked about high school. He was never really good at school. How he got into amateur wrestling his senior year, and he wished he would have discovered it earlier because it's his senior year, so he didn't have really much time to gain experience and learn from it. But he's such a big guy, it kind of intimidated people. But his experience is what really cost him his matches at the very end. And he always talked about how since he was on his own, if he didn't want to go to school, he didn't go to school. If he wanted to, he did. And most days he didn't want to go to school, so he rarely went to school. He'd rather he went to the gym a lot more than rather go to school. And he talked about how at 17 years old, because he's such a big guy. By the way, Batista, he was really, really fat. I thought Batista was a big muscular guy. I never knew how fat he was. I think they said his heaviest was 375, I believe. So Batista was a really big guy. And he became a bouncer at 17. He was actually a bouncer for... oh, wow. Speaking of Batista. Hold on. Okay, I'm sorry, I had to show that. That was too perfect not to show. I'm talking about Batista in a video, and Batista appears on my TV screen. That was too perfect not to show. But now I gotta realign this camera angle. A little more. That's fine right there. Wait, yeah, that's fine. That's good enough. Yeah, as I was saying, he became a bouncer when he was 17, and he was a bouncer for 10 years. He's a bouncer until he was 27, and he was only a bouncer for 10 years because it was his comfort zone. That was what he knew. He knew people there, and that was why he was a bouncer so long, just because that was what he was comfortable doing. And he talked about how he met Angie, his ex-wife, at a gym. How all the guys saw her, and Batista's like, man, she's so beautiful. And basically, Batista went after her, and they got married. Batista actually left his current girlfriend, who he had a kid with, I believe. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they had two kids together, I believe. And Batista left her for Angie. And well, he didn't leave her. He had two girlfriends at once, and then his ex-girlfriend found out about it. She moved to Minnesota, and Batista felt so bad about things. He really loved her. He was in love with both of them, but he really felt bad about it. So he even moved down to Minneapolis himself to try and work things out. Didn't work out, so Batista ended up moving back to be with Angie. And he talked about a career decision where he tried out for WCW's Power Plant with his friend, and the guy that was there, I don't think they said his name. They just some random guy. The guy in charge was basically an asshole and told Batista, you're not ever going to amount to anything in this business. You don't have what it takes. You have nothing. Basically just tore him to shreds. And Batista just, being the guy he is, he's like, no, I'll take my talents elsewhere. He would go train with Alpha from the Wild Samoans. He trained with them. And Alpha said the moment Batista walked into his school, he just knew, that's going to be the next big thing. He even told Batista, what took you so long? He was waiting for a guy of his caliber to show up in front of his presence. And, he got to him. Of course, Alpha was still at the WWF at the time. So he put in a good word for Batista, and Batista got the phone call from WWE, and they signed him, and he went to OVW. Jim Cornette gave him the gimmick of Leviathan, the big creepy character. I'm pretty sure everyone just laughs at and they look at now. I mean, he wore a chain around his neck, which everyone hated. He said he tried to wear fangs, but he always spat them out during matches, so he stopped doing that real quick. And you know, eventually he got called up to the main roster as Deacon Batista to be with Devon, basically be his bodyguard, you know, the guy at the box getting money. And he talked about how Devon really helped him out when he first got there onto the main roster, and how you know, Evolution transpired from that. How Triple H and Rick were looking for two guys to recruit, and him and Orton were the two guys they wanted. They said, no, you two are going to be the future. But the originality of Evolution was that Randy Orton was supposed to be, you know, the next big thing. Not, you know, not a pun to Brock Lesnar, but he's supposed to be the biggest star, and Batista was just there to look good. You know, Batista's a big muscular guy. So, like, you know, Batista's going to be the guy that looks good. Orton's going to be the guy that actually goes, you know, far in his career. And, you know, that changed. Well, it didn't change, but, like, Triple H always said, like, you know, Batista's going to be the guy to look out for, not Randy Orton. And, like, when Orton won the title, they had, like, I guess halfway through the Evolution storyline, they started changing their minds about who they're going to really push after this. And Michael Hayes said right when Orton won the title at SummerSlam before, immediately, like, creative changed their minds on, I guess, who's going to be the next big star of the two. He didn't really specify. He just said a creative change was made right after Orton won the title. So I don't really know what that meant. He didn't really specify what that meant, if they're going with Batista after that or whatnot. And then they talked about how Batista won the Rumble, how, you know, it was very, very convenient that him and Cena were the final two in the Rumble of 5, and, you know, 2005 were those two guys' years. They became the top guys after that year, and how Batista won the Rumble, him turning on Triple H and, you know, challenging him for the world titles, what really cemented him as, you know, a guy. He really, you know, took the company on his back after his feud with Triple H. That really, what made Batista was that feud. He talked about how he won the title from Triple H at Mania. Immediately when Kyoto gained the title, he broke down crying because he couldn't contain himself. And when you go back and watch it, you can tell, like, he couldn't contain himself. The moment he got handed that title, he just broke down in tears. He couldn't believe it. And then when he got backstage, he actually proposed to his wife Angie, because, you know, they got married, like, whatever way. It wasn't special or anything, so he wanted to give her the proposal that she deserved. And, you know, after that, after he became the world champion, because of the schedule he had, he started having, you know, family issues. His marriage was crumbling. His daughter, one of his oldest daughter, got pregnant and whatnot. And, you know, he started to, he talked about how when he got injured, he started to become like a family man again. Well, not when he becoming injured, but when he went to SmackDown, he started becoming a family man again. And, you know, his daughter, both his daughters, he had custody of both of them. And really, really sad thing was his oldest daughter's ex-boyfriend, the baby daddy, basically. I guess she went to go out with some other guy. I guess they broke up, but Batista let the boyfriend or the baby daddy live with them, and because, you know, he wanted him to be involved in the baby's life, so he let him stay with him. And you know, when he was devastated when Batista's daughter started going out with someone else, so he moved out. And like a week or two after he moved out, he actually got in a car accident and died. So that devastated Batista. And then they talked about how Batista went to SmackDown, and they thought it was going to be a huge fail right off the bat, because when he went to SmackDown, everyone hated him. The SmackDown roster hated Batista, because, you know, he got brought there, he was a world champion, he didn't know anybody, because he didn't travel with any of the guys, because he's on Raw, so he didn't know anyone, and everyone basically hated Batista, didn't like him, and they thought from the get-go, okay, this would be a huge fail now, because no one likes Batista. They just didn't think it was going to work out. And then I talked about how Eddie was the guy who really had his back. Eddie was a guy who basically befriended him when no one would on SmackDown, and they became friends just like that. They connected real well, real quickly, and how devastated he was when Eddie died. Like, he said he broke down in his bed crying like he never cried before, and it was just a very, very sad moment right there. And he talked about how him and Ray became close after that as well, because they're both really good friends with Eddie. And he talked about how he really found his side of his Filipino side. He went to the Philippines. They treated him like he was the greatest thing to ever live. And, you know, he was a huge star in the Philippines, and he really talked about that for a while, how important that trip to the Philippines was and how big of a star he became. And he talked about how he had to relinquish the World Championship because he got injured, had to give it up, was devastated that he had to get injured. He actually got injured at a house show by Mark Henry, and the way he described his injury was just really, really painful. It sounded bad on Mark Henry's part. It's not like Mark Henry didn't even care about if he injured him or not. But, You know, he had reached the world title early '06. Talked about his, you know, he's becoming a huge star. You know how big he's becoming, and he started talking about his feud with the Undertaker. How, you know, his match at 23, he was just really proud of that match, and he went backstage immediately after the match and said, "Everyone follow that." You know, like, how you gonna follow that match? And in my opinion, that match was followed by Cena and Michaels, but it's completely off topic. And he talked about his feud with Edge, how he thought him and Edge had really well chemistry, but their matches proved otherwise. Not to down on them, but like their matches aren't that great. But you know, that's pretty much it. Towards the end, they just basically talk about how big of a star he became and whatnot. And yeah, I mean, talked about him. They closed it out with him, you know, basically questioning his future, saying how if he would have ended his career right now, he would be left to make a star, which is kind of weird because he actually left the company not too long after his DVD came out, so that was kind of like, whoa, that was weird how they would say that. But yeah, they said whatever the future holds, it's going to be good things and big things, and they're definitely right. Batista coming back, that's a big thing, and looking forward to it. But yeah, that's my review for the DVD. Good stuff here. The matches could have been a lot better. Documentary could have been better, but it was good for what it was worth. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in my next video. For now, peace out, ladies and gentlemen.